Peace and love. It's Prince L here with Moore's Temple Light Trust Corps. I wanted to do a brief product review on one of my latest acquisitions here, the Legal Assistance Complete Desk Reference. I don't know if if the screen is like flipping the image, so hopefully like the YouTube adjusts it because it automatically does some editing things on its own. But in any case, I wanted to take a moment just to tell you the humble well, I'm humbled that you, the viewer, are watching this video right now. But for those who feel that there is a little bit of value in some of the things that I say or some of the information that I present to my viewing audience, I want you to be able to stand on your own square, all right? And I want you to be able to defend yourself if and when the time comes. So here we go. The following is not legal advice. I am not a lawyer. I am not even a certified paralegal. I am a legal assistant of sorts, specializing in pro se self-represented litigation. All right. Now, because I specialize in self-represented litigation, that is mostly the reason why I want to do this product review. Because there are lots of people who cannot afford lawyers, right? And so they end up doing it or making the attempts, valid attempts, to do things on their own. And I think that that is great. We need more people that can do their perform their due diligence and take advantage of the information and the education that is available to them to help them achieve their desired results. All right. Now, this legal desk reference has some of the greatest things that you can look for. This book was written by it was written by the American Bar Association, ABA, and it was edited by Ursula Fury Perry. So I want to make sure that I give the proper persons their credit where credit is due. Otherwise, I'm not citing my sources, and somebody brought it to my attention that it's extremely important that I cite my sources. So if you want to know what my sources is, you can check out what their sources are. All right. Yes, this book is starting to look like a little bit like a peacock feather. There are a lot of specific sections that I think pertain to the self-represented litigant. All right. And some of the most important areas that I think self-represented litigants need to focus their time and their energy into are: one, understanding what the best practices are. All right, that's definitely a section you're going to want to review. Another section that you're going to want to review out of this book is the court proceedings section. Excuse me, I got all these different joints here, but let's say that you yourself wanted to become, or you wanted to engage in your civil right of assisting others with legal matters. All right, document preparation, research, analysis, questioning, the things that lawyers would otherwise be doing. But as a legal assistant, you perform these actions under the supervision of a lawyer. But let's say that you're an individual like myself who specializes in self-represented litigants, then my supervision is done by those who are representing themselves, and I act in a counselary fashion. Counselary meaning no, I don't give any opinions. I just tell them or provide them the areas where they should do their own research and figure out what just might work in their interest. All right. So understanding what a paralegal's conflicts of interest are is a great way to understand what an attorney's conflicts of interest are, and how you might be able to, maybe even if it came up to where you needed to challenge the actions of a lawyer or of an attorney, you would be able to determine or make that determination as to what practices they were violating, and how they might be actually engaging also in the unauthorized practice of law with some of their methods. All right, which happens quite frequently. At least in my research, I see that it happens more frequently than most self-represented litigants care to desire. All right. Another portion of this book that you want to review is the court systems and procedures. Now, court systems and procedures, a lot of people think that they understand how one form of court works, but it's only one form of court that you're considering. All right, there are many venues to take into consideration. All right. Most times, most actions that begin occur on a municipal level, then become a district level, then become a state matter, and then, if necessary, becomes a federal matter. And in some very rare instances, it can also become a very international matter. So, like, being able to determine what venue you need or what venue may apply to you is going to require your investment into that process, all right, or in the investigation of where you should be filing. Now, if you once you make the determination as to what court it is or going to apply to you, all right, like the civil litigation process and related court rules, the criminal process and related court rules and procedures, rules of evidence, the appellate process and related court rules. Because even when you start a case out in any of the previous, lower tribunal courts, like the municipal, like the district, like the state, you still have the possibility of appealing a decision within those venues of courts before you get to a higher venue of court, all right, or higher court venue. All right, some other things that you may want to take into consideration is the preparation of legal documents, instruments, and court filings. It's crucial that, like, as an individual that is representing himself, you understand what forms are needed, how to fill those forms out, and what pertains to you and what does not pertain to you. All right. Other areas that you're also going to want to review that I find of extreme and crucial necessity are legal research and writing. All right. That's extremely important, because it's not just as simple as just writing a letter. This is not a Dear John letter. This is a legal document, all right? Which means that any type of legal documentation must be sworn or attested to or affirmed in the presence of a court officer, all right? Which could be as simple as a notary public or a clerk of the court, who in all actuality, when you'd have to make your own determination. But from my perspective, it appears as if the court's clerk is the gatekeeper to whether or not your matter will be heard by a judge, because the clerks inform the judge's assistants. The judge's assistants lets the court clerk know whether or not there is any availability on the judge's calendar, because not all judges or all hearing officers are actual judges. They're not justices. They may be lawyers who are acting in an authorized position granted to them by the state. They may have been voted into the position. It's a number of different things, all right? Trial preparation is extremely important because you need to be familiar with how these things go. Quite often when I'm dealing with other individuals who adhere to a similar faith, they begin to challenge certain jurisdictions versus challenging the opposing party. I think that it's extremely important that you understand which party to challenge, which party not to challenge, which party you may want to make your unbiased friend, all right? Now, and you want to think like the person who's watching over everything, because if you can't think like that person, then you're going to make matters worse for yourself, all right? Areas of practice, and these are, I'm only going to discuss the areas that are of my particular interest, but areas of practice within this book includes bankruptcy and collections, corporate and business law, labor and employment, estate planning, family law, real estate, intellectual property, which breaks down into, like, credit and debt, right? Personal and professional, right? Family court or family law, right? And then copywriting and trademarking information. So all this entire book is filled with some great things. Like, I'm still moving through it because I like to actually read my material as well as skim through certain sections in order to find the just exactly what it is I'm looking for, all right? So estate planning is one of my favorite areas. Bankruptcy and collections, as I also assist in the preparation of bankruptcy documents, as well as I'm also a credit repair specialist. If you need assistance with that, we'll talk about that another time. Other areas that I have also had the you know, the fortunate, unfortunate pleasure of having to work in is also within family law, so probate courts, all right?